Hi all, it's Teresa in Gemma's house. So continuing on with my new quilt I'm going to make out of these pillow shams that I haven't used for a long time. I'm coming up with a new design for this quilt, and I always make up my own quilt patterns. I don't ever use a quilt pattern. I just make up my designs, and most of the time I just design as I go. So in the end, it's a nice surprise how it turns out, and I'm usually very pleased with them. So I'm going to be just thinking out loud here about how I might do this new quilt pattern. I'm thinking that I will make a couch quilt instead of a quilt for a queen size bed, because I have enough of those, that's for sure. And since it's warmer weather, I am not going to worry about quilting every part of this quilt, like with batting, because I don't need it to be super warm. I want it to be more decorative. And it will be useful too. When I'm laying on the couch in the evening watching TV, it is chillier in the evening, and I will use it to cover up, and I'll enjoy it like that. So what I'm thinking of doing is, this pillow sham is my favorite actually. I have two of these, this one, and this one. So I will also use these two. This one I'm not so sure about. I think I might cut the fringe off of this and use it on the quilt somehow. And the backs of these two, I will definitely use this fabric in the quilt too. So what I'm thinking of doing is just using a variation of a simple patchwork quilt, because I love patchwork quilts, and I'll make the blocks on point instead. I want to see if I can use all of this pillow sham, so I'll have to do the measurements so that I can get parts of blocks out of these corners too, and not waste so much of the pillow sham. I do like the embroidered flowers a lot, so I want to use all of them. So because I have 3 different patterns that don't really match each other, I want to use another fabric to unify all of the blocks. And I'm thinking that I'll use some old blue jeans of mine that I've been waiting around to see if I will lose weight so they fit me again. And if you knew me, you would probably know how that's going to turn out. So I'm going to cut these up for fabric, and I'll use the blue jean fabric as borders for each of these blocks. And then I'll see if I need another fabric maybe in between them as like sashing. So I did a sketch on graph paper. This is what I'm thinking of doing. Each of the blocks will be turned on point like this. Each one will be bordered with the jeans fabric as a unifying element. And then maybe I'll cut more blocks and they'll be on point as well. And that will be just the denim fabric. So I'm getting kind of excited about this design, so I'm going to get started cutting out my blocks. So I used up a lot of the pillow sham, and look at the cute blocks I got. These are the corner parts. So I'm really happy with these. So if I go by my design here, I got 3 blocks, so I have 2 of those pillow shams, so that's 6 blocks. So I could put them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I just need 8 more blocks. And I have these 2 pillow shams left. So that means I need 4 blocks out of each one. I'm starting to look at the colors, how they go together. These are both kind of mild looking colors, but this other sham has a lot of red in it. So I'm thinking I might use the back part of the bird's one and just use this one instead. It's a nice subtle color, and it's also quilted. No wonder this pillow sham was so heavy. It was quilted with batting on both sides of it. I'll cut 4 more squares out of this one. Okay, so this was my first layout. I kind of like it. It looks very balanced. And I wasn't sure if these reds in this last pillow sham would work nicely with the design, but I'm kind of thinking I might include them. Okay, so I added these from the last pillow sham. I cut them in half so that I could distribute the reds with the blues on all 4 of those squares. And Gemma is in the other room squeaking her loudest toy because she wants some attention from me. So I'm going to start cutting the blue jean material. I'll decide how big I want this whole quilt to be. So you better not run into these. Gemma, nope. Yeah, I might go 4 to 6 inches on the sashing pieces in between each square. Okay, so there are several different ways I could do this. This is an arrangement where the darker patterns are more in the middle and the lighter ones to the outside edges. And this one is the one I had originally thought I would go with the embroidered flowered blocks all in the middle and to both sides of the middle. And this one is the lighter blocks down the middle and the darker ones to the outside. And then there's this one that is a totally random arrangement of the patterns. And you know what? I think I like this one the best. So I kind of like the random pattern because it does distribute the lights and darks and different colors all throughout the entire quilt. And I just measured this point to point, and it looks like it's going to be about 4.5 feet wide by 6 feet long. That will be a nice size for the couch. Okay, I'm going to start stitching. Okay, so here's my new quilt. So first I went back to my original pattern that I had come up with, and I decided to use the fabric from the back of that one red and blue pillow sham to put into the corners. And then I didn't really like that, and so I took those off and I thought, oh, look at this shape. Why not make a quilt that is this shape instead of rectangle? So I decided to do that. Then I started moving the blocks around into a different pattern, and I decided to use this one. I always change my mind during the process, and this was one of those times that I kept changing my mind and going to a different design. But that's part of the fun of making your own quilt pattern, isn't it? I went through several different designs, but I finally decided on this design, and I really like it because this area in the middle is all mild colors. They're the lighter colors, and it goes out to these other blues to each side. And then the embroidered flowered ones are grouped together at the top and the bottom, and then the reds from that last sham are in the corners. I ran out of the blue jean material after I had done the borders, and I had to cut the blue jeans in quarter square shapes because I only had so many pair, and some of them were skinny legs, so of course the large squares wouldn't have fit and the half squares wouldn't have fit on the legs either, so I had to make the pieces smaller. So here we are. This is my finished quilt all sewn together, and I really do like it. Okay, so that will wrap up this video. Another interesting quilt made out of all things that I already had. I didn't spend a dime on making this quilt. I didn't have to buy anything new. So I like these types of quilts. And it's not your usual pattern or fabrics. I got rid of some jeans that didn't fit me anymore, and I was able to reuse some pillow shams that I hadn't used in a long time and probably wouldn't either. So I'll add the backing to this, a flannel fabric that I have already on hand, and I'll free motion parts of it and put the binding on using fabrics that I already have also. And I'll show you that in an upcoming video too. I really do appreciate if you leave a comment and let me know about your own quilts and experiences. I think it's fun for the other viewers of this video too to read about other people's experiences with making up their own patterns for quilts. So until next week, thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.